Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Minecolonies here in urban Savannah. My name is Rev, and it has been a second. We did a lot of farming. We've done a lot of stuff. You can see in my toolbar right now. Oh, we have some buildings we're placing today, and that's not even half of the ones that we're going to be putting down. So, what is on the docket today? Well, for those who saw the community post in between episode 6 and now episode 7, where we are now, we are pretty much going to be filling up this entire basin area with all of the craftsmanship buildings. I have a few other buildings that I want to also take care of. Do I have any food on me? I do not. Let's go up to the restaurant real quick while I discuss some stuff. I have a couple other buildings that I want to take care of too, such as the plantation, because we have unlocked that, as well as the compost hut, since that is something the farmer is constantly screaming at me about. That's what they want. Give inventory. What do you got? Nope, not that. This button. Yeah, give me some bread. Boop, 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 boop. But yeah, so we're going to go through a lot of those instead of like walking through and just kind of talking about some of the other things that I have done. We are in fact just going to kind of come over here to a little bit nice little blank area and kind of show off some of the buildings that we're going to be doing so you can kind of see the progression. I also have another building that is going to be more tailored for the time lapse. I think it's going to be in a really cool spot, but I won't be showing that one off in this little palette thing that we're going to be doing here. So craftsmanship stuff. This is where a lot of the Minecolonies automation is really going to start coming in. I'd say, episode 7, and we're finally getting into the stuff like the sawmill and the blacksmith to kind of deal with, me no longer needing to do these things. But hey, it happened. We're here. It's fine. It's okay. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we have right now, because the buildings that I have off the get-go from the university, which was a big reason where we needed to get the university. So if we take a look at some of the blocks that I have right now that we've gotten from the university research that we've done, we have the blacksmith's hut, we have the smeltery, the sawmill, the stonemason's hut, the plantation, and the composter's hut. There are a few other buildings that we are going to get to today in this, but I can't unlock them until we put like the blacksmith down and get it leveled up. All of these buildings, the goal is going to try and get them up to like level 3, level 4. I have done a lot of farming off camera to get all of those materials and stuff, which is also part of why this episode was late, unfortunately. But hey, we're here now, we're going to do it. So let's go ahead and take a look at the blacksmith hut first. Actually, no, let's do the sawmill first. The sawmill is actually going to be a pretty big improvement for us overall. The forester's been doing a lot of good stuff, getting a lot of the raw materials that we need, which is fantastic, but I've had to be the one to go and create all of the building materials from the raw resources. The sawmill is going to allow us to no longer have to do that. We can just kind of automate that process away. And if what did it, what? Clicky. Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. Now we can go back to taking a look at things at level 1 and stuff. Oh yeah, we're close enough that we're going to see the full level of that. So the sawmill is a pretty cool building. I like it. I'm not exactly sure if this one is actually going to stay over here near where we are today, close to the forester's hut. But let's go ahead and take a look through the levels. Level 3 is usually when we start seeing a little bit more character to these buildings. Not too bad. And of course level 4. So this one, it's not bad. I think for the sawmill, we might place it over here somewhere, because we have the forester right there, we have the tavern right there. I think it could go pretty well, like maybe over here somewhere. Maybe just like honestly right next to it. I kind of like that. I kind of like that as an idea. We'll just end up placing that like right next to the forester set. Bring it down a couple levels, do some terraforming, the little waterfall behind it. Yeah. So the sawmill, this is going to be one of the buildings we're knocking out today. In it, we're going to be able to give recipes to the citizen who works there, and they will be able to take all of the logs and turn it into the stairs, the stripped, kind of see these like the fancy looking blocks. It'll be able to do those for us as well. So that's going to be a really big boon for us. And then let's see what it looks like fully maxed out. Yeah, we got the stonework and stuff. I think having it over here will be really good. So that is the sawmill. That is going to be one of the ones we got going on. Next, we'll look at, I believe it's here in the masonry, the stonemason's hut. This one, I'm thinking I'm going to want this near where I put the quarry. And I haven't quite figured out what I want to do or where I want to put a quarry yet for us. But there's a couple buildings here in the masonry. We have the stonemason, we have the sifter, the stone smeltery, and the crusher. The stonemason is going to be able to do a lot of like how the sawmill works, where the sawmill is going to make us like wooden stairs and, you know, the strip logs and everything. What is this again? This is the stone one? Yeah, stonemason's hut is going to be doing that for us, but with the stone, so cobblestone and everything. It'll chisel all that out for us. This one has that same vibe as the sawmill, so I'm thinking in that same vein we're gonna have that over here, because I've been kind of doing a little bit of like measuring things out, and I'm thinking this giant puddle area is going to be where I just want to put the quarry. I was thinking at one point maybe like over there, kind of tuck it away or something like that, but I think using this with the natural terraforming of like all of the grass and the dirt down into just like raw stone into like a deeper lake area, I think would be pretty good for it. So we'll end up putting probably the stonemason's hut somewhere over here, probably like right next to the tavern, kind of like in that little alcove right there, I think is where that one's gonna go. These aren't like the big artsy crafts like the blacksmith hut and everything that I want to put down into the actual bowl of our colony. But this is what the stonemason hut looks like. It's not too bad. It's pretty nice. Again, it's going to be just like the sawmill, but instead of wood, it's going to be processing the raw stone and cobblestone and other blocks and stuff. And you can kind of see some of those blocks here right in front of us, like with sand and the hindstone and all that kind of fun stuff. So that is that one. Let's go ahead and go into metallurgy. Now this is kind of where we're probably going to start seeing like the blacksmith hut. The blacksmith hut is where I want to actually put this next to like the mine. I want to bring it into the crafting area as a whole, because there's a lot of cool stuff that comes along with it. I like the overall vibe of what it looks like, and putting it somewhere in the vicinity of the mine I think will just look aesthetically really good. This is going to be for obviously swords and armor and all that other kind of fun stuff that I'm tired of making for my citizens as they break it. So it'll just be nice to have. With this and the smeltery is going to be taking all of the ore that we're mining, pulling it straight out of the mine, allowing it to be processed. There's a couple recipes as well that we've been needing for like rails and everything like that, that the oh my goodness, the smeltery, right? Yeah, that's what it is. The smeltery will do really well for us. This is also going to go over next to the mine. Again, I really like the aesthetic of like all the smoke and stuff like that coming out of both of those being next to the buildings that it needs. It also has like a very low profile compared to some of the other buildings. So it'll kind of like tuck in, I think, really well. And like most of the buildings that we're doing here in the colony, once they're fully maxed out, I will be able to kind of go back in and terraform over top of them. But until they're level 5, it's really hard to do that, mostly from whenever they go to upgrade it, they like clear all the blocks out. So it's kind of like a pain in the butt. So that's going to be what we're going to be tackling with the craftsmanship. Now there are several others we can kind of see here, like the crusher, the sifter, we go in here, the mechanic's hut, that's a big one. The Fletcher's hut, another big one. We have a lot of luxuries and stuff like that with the bakery, with the dyer's hut, concrete mixer, glass blower and stuff. Some of these I can't get yet because we don't have the initial base things down. So like the mechanic's hut needs, I believe, blacksmith to be level 3. And so ideally what I'm hoping to accomplish in today's video is we're going to get those down. We're going to get the research down. And the research takes, I think it's like an hour per for some of those. Hopefully get those knocked out and then also get those in, which will be fantastic. Now, some of the other buildings that I'm trying to get in are going to be along the lines of our agriculture. So we have a composter's hut. This is something that's going to be really important for our farm. If you guys are either playing along or playing in your own world, you'll probably notice that once you start making your first farm, one of the biggest requests that is going to come is compost, or rather it's going to be fertilizer, and it's like never ending. You can of course turn that off in the settings with your farms. However, the sooner you're able to get a compost hut, it's kind of like a really great way to recycle a lot of just like foliage and stuff like that that comes from the builder as they're building things. So I'm hoping to get one of these built up on the upper area next to our farm. Also where I plan on putting the plantation will also be up there to kind of help speed some things along and set up the delivery process for, you know, all the leaves and flowers and everything that we've been picking up. That being said, also the plantation. The plantation is really cool. So with the farm at a basic level, you're not able to do things like sugarcane or cactus or there's 3, 4 things that only come in the plantation. I can't remember what they are off the top of my head, but as we build it, it'll be important. And seaweed, that's what it was. Kelp, seaweed. Those are needed now, especially as our colony grows, because the colonists don't just get the flu, which you solve with like the potato and carrot, which easily comes from, you know, our one farm. They'll start getting sick with other diseases that require things like sunflowers, which will come from a flower shop, or something with like, I think kelp and like a potato. I think that one gets cured. I can't remember what it was, but I had to go find kelp, and I was like, well, I don't want to do that anymore, so I'm going to put a farm together, which is the plantation, specifically for farming those things. So these are going to be a couple other things that kind of make an appearance, as well as a super secret special building that I think is going to look really cool where it's going to be placed. So that's what we got going on in today's episode. There's going to be a lot of buildings. These buildings are also rather small. So, man, like last episode, I'll walk over there right now because it's being upgraded right now. Upgrading from like level 3 to level 4 with the university, just being the way that it is with so many smaller buildings inside of one larger building, has been an absolute pain. Let me tell you guys, it's like, I was hoping to like have a better time lapse holistically for it, but like it just did not want to work that way, and like it's still kind of being worked on, and it's, oh my goodness, like you can kind of see he's making some progress. We're finally upgrading to brick over there, but it's still very slow going. I'd be honestly surprised if it is done, at least by the time some of these other buildings get in. So thankfully we have 2 builders now. I believe he just finished the. It looks like he finished that guard tower over there, which is really cool. So we'll be making some progress. Like I said, we got a lot of buildings going in. We're going to get a good chunk of the craftsmanship stuff in here, especially like the glass blower, the flower thing, like making this look like a really nice fleshed out trade market through here. Some of those buildings can only come after I get the blacksmith hut and stuff like that in, which is going to be fine. But hopefully after the cutaway and you talk to future me and past me and all that other weird time stuff that ends up happening when a video is being edited, we'll have a much better fleshed out, I don't know, I've been calling it the bowl, but like it just kind of works. There will not be paths yet. I want to call that one out real quick. That is going to be something I will end up doing in between as the builds are being done. So there might be some like basic pathing, but I'm not quite sure if I'm going to do like a detailed path like what I've been doing here, mixing in the cobble. I need to get some like broken stone and stuff like that to kind of get this to be a little bit cleaner. I also need to clean these stairs up too. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and jump over into that. Thank you guys so much for hanging out, and let's go get it. Ooh. All right, everybody. Oh, whew, it's been a hot second. We've done a lot of things here. There's, oh my goodness, there's more here than there was in the time lapse. It's been a minute. We did a lot of farming. We did a lot of research, and I've started to plot out roadways. So we're gonna make this one kind of quick because I'm truthfully with you guys. It's been a few weeks now at this point. Life being life. However, we've made some pretty good progress overall with everything that's going on here. So let's go ahead and I'm going to come up, actually, where was the vantage point? Over there, yeah. So, oh goodness, we have done a lot. First of all, I was originally going to just focus on doing everything inside the bowl. I have done more than everything inside the bowl. I have actually started building out the industrial sector for the colony, which is cool. Got this over here. I'm just going to come up over here and hopefully don't fall again. I've fallen a few times. So this is going to be a lot of the stone working stuff. Actually, I'm going to get some water and put some like water, I think, in there just to kind of like give more of the vibe. So we got a lot of the stone stuff, the sifters, the crushers and everything is over here. We have our Fletchers and our sawmills and stuff over here. A lot of things have been leveled up to 4. We have a whole bunch of like residences and stuff like that going up. We got a really cool, that's the enchanter's hut. All the way up there. Love it on top of that mountain. And also one of the things we're going to be looking at doing is putting a quarry right over here as well, since this feels like a really good spot to do it right next to all these things. But that's not for this episode. That's that's going to be a future episode right there. But so okay, so we've done those things. We're slowly getting the babies grown up so that we can get them in there and properly start automating some of the recipes and stuff like that here in the colony, which will be good because as we can see, the mine needs that framed cobblestone, which I believe is one of the last ones that we got to take care of. So let's go ahead. I'm going to run over here and we're going to get up over there to kind of look down into the bowl to kind of talk about some stuff. The layout with like the roadways and stuff is slowly coming along. I've kind of started plotting out like how we're gonna go and do this. We'll put like a little park and stuff over in here, and it's gonna be a little bit more apparent as we come up this hill here, getting towards the actual bowl of everything, because the manufacturing hub, the arts, the crafts, all that kind of fun stuff it's quite dense. And so we're going to definitely want to be using some roadways. So what do we got? We have university being leveled up. We have up over there, can't really see it. We got a bakery. We have a glass blower's hut. We have a dye hut behind the hospital. We have a blacksmith right over there. And then behind the blacksmith in this mountain, you can't even see it, is a flower hut. Like I said, we've done a lot. And past this, out towards that nether gate, you can kind of see it right there. That's our nether mine. We got that all squared away as well. Up top, we built some more residences. We built some more farms. We have a plantation. Leveled up the residences. Man, it has been crazy. And due to just like trying to crank all this stuff out, haven't really had the opportunity to also time lapse it right along with everything else. Oh, I gotta fix this. It always does this. It's just like it breaks when it like adds something new in here. Oof. All right, so let's cool. So I've kind of started laying out pathways and figuring out how we're going to go about actually connecting a lot of these buildings together, at least from a foot traffic perspective. So there's going to be a main throughway here. We kind of have like this coming up in here into our university. So I have to clean this up. And then I'm going to have it come along the university. We're going to have a nice street right here. Maybe a thoroughfare to our hospital. Our glassblower's hut, we're going to have a little bit of a curve up over here to the blacksmith. And then up here, we're going to have more of like a natural path created up into the flower shop. I'm going to break this. Into the flower shop. Now, again, one of the things that I've kind of talked about in previous episodes is I want to come back and do a little bit more natural terraforming around some of the buildings, because you can kind of see with, hey, nice, he finished. we can kind of see up here with the flower shop how I put it in. They carved out this just huge massive chunk into the mountain, and I want to like bring that down and make that look a little bit more natural too, as if it like generated and put itself right in there. And also like what? Oh, it did the whole weird choppy thing. You guys didn't chop the whole tree down, so I should probably get some acacia and actually finish up that tree right there. But I want to come back and do that, and that it's also really apparent when I go and look at the courier's hut, because the courier's hut also did the same thing. We're one level away from getting everything up to level 5, which isn't going to be happening for a second, but when I do, I'm going to come back and I'm actually going to start like connecting these buildings to the natural geometry of everything. It'll probably complain a little bit and want to be like repaired or something along those lines, but it's for the style points, personally. Also, I want to start cleaning up some of these torches. Oh my goodness. So we've done a lot of things here. We're starting to get people in there, getting their recipes all sorted. We got a new kid again. So many kids popping up. I plan on putting the roadway back over into this way, carving out some more, leading up over here to our dyer's hut, properly building this out, along with, actually, what is this? Is this like lit earlier? Nice. Okay, cool. I'm gonna say no. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, we're gonna get the dyer's hut linked up, and then more of a main thoroughfare or roadway here to our nether mine as well. So what do we kind of have left hanging for us when it comes to what we need to do here in the colony itself proper? And if we were to go up top, one, I want to fix a lot of this geometry and stuff like that. Get the landscaping and terraforming looking a little bit more natural, curve it in to the already pre-generated stuff. And we can kind of see that over here as well. Like I want to bring that kind of down into the mountainside to make it feel like we're building out as opposed to just like transplanting things in. Didn't have time to do that in the episode today, but mostly just due to a lot of farming and just wanting to get a lot of these buildings in place. So if we're to actually take out our build tool here real quick, I'll eat some bread actually real fast. But if we actually take our build tool out real quick, I'm gonna come up over here to a little bit more flat area to kind of show off. Actually no, because I don't actually have the building blocks. So we've done a lot in terms of the craftsmanship. At this point, we have our Fletcher's hut, we have our sawmill, we have well, we don't have the alchemist tower yet, but we have a bakery, we have the glass blowers, concrete mixer, dyers. We have a crusher, a sifter, a stonemasons, and a stone smeltery. Metallurgy, we have all these. We don't have a mechanic's hut yet. So that's coming. We'll get one of those here soon. And then, of course, storage and stuff. So we've kind of really nailed out craftsmanship. We started going into the mystic stuff. So we have the enchanters, the nether mine. I need to make a graveyard, and I need to make a mystical site. So that's going to be on the docket for next episode. In the military, there's a lot of stuff we're going to have to do with the military. We also need to go into doing... Where is it at? Infrastructure. Here. We need to do a quarry for just more stone coming in. And then we also need to start getting into the horticulture, husbandry. There's a lot of things here with like the cowhands hut, shepherd's hut and stuff, the farms, a fisher's hut and everything that we need to start building in to take more advantage of just the, gathering of the food and all that other kind of fun stuff. And one of those places that I was looking to get that done is going to be back over here in the hillside. We look back over through here, there's a lot of like places to put like a fisher's hut. There's a lot of places to build up where we want to have the farms kind of dotting along this back area of our colony right here, which I think will go really great. We might even get some up here in the front as well, just to kind of spread the load a little bit, and also end up starting like connecting things in a more natural way, utilizing the courier's hut with like the subway stations and all that other kind of fun stuff. I think we'll go pretty hard, all things considered. So that we have those, and when I was looking at some of the decorations, or rather the infrastructure with like rails and stuff, I'm not fully sure how I'm going to go about doing that best yet, because one of my goals is to connect this right up here to this section over here. And I've like looked around and I'm not fully convinced on what I want to do bridge-wise from point A to point B over here. There's a lot of things that we could probably go about doing, but I'm not sure what I want to do. And I think next episode is going to be getting a lot of the remainder of the mystic site stuff up. So the graveyard and not enchanter's hut. What do we got? Graveyard and the mystic site. I want to get that going. I would love to get our school and library up. Those would be nice to have. And then also I want to do the husbandry. So I'm thinking that's what's going to end up happening for the next episode. And then the following episode after that, we're definitely going to be focusing on the military aspect, which is going to be the barracks. Huge, big, giant chunk of just like building that needs to go up. Allows us to house a lot more guards, which will be really good. And I'm not sure where that's actually gonna go, full disclosure, but we'll figure that out. And then lastly, what will end up happening as we start wrapping the series up within the 10 episodes is getting everything upgraded to level 5, which is going to be a huge effort in and of itself. We'll have to get another builder, as well as probably another courier, and several other things will most likely need to happen just to kind of make that jump. And we'll start connecting everything along with doing a lot of terraforming to like really make this feel like it was a properly structured and thought out colony. So that's a lot going on as I stand here in this tree. And mostly what happened in this episode was getting everything built. I want to make sure that I get everything all squared away to properly explain some of the buildings that we did put in place today. Like the blacksmith has someone, but we have some kids growing up and we're able to kind of start filling out the crusher's hut and the Fletcher's hut and everything like that. And I want to be able to get those set up and working properly and then go over those details with you guys in the next episode. So with all that being said, it's been a doozy. It's been, I know, a few weeks since we've actually had something come out, and I apologize in advance for that. However, I thank you guys all for sticking with me, hanging out, being here for the video. If you have any music recommendations, like always, please drop those down in the comments below. Thank you so much for all the likes and the subscribes and all that other kind of fun stuff. And I hope you guys have a wonderful Monday, and I will see you all next time. Bye.